It's okay to admit you're not the best at everything. At Paul Pierce. And send. Welcome to Bookmarked, everybody. Today, we're talking about Kyrie Irving conspiracy theories, why everyone still doesn't like the Astros, and why celebrating too early never goes well. Let's get right into it. All right, in case you missed it, first one, early celebrations. How in the hell are we still doing this? We had the Deshaun Jackson fumble in 2008. Now we have the DK Metcalf in 2020. This man is a beast. I don't know how we let him fall this far in the draft, but come on, my man. When are we going to learn to run into the end zone, then celebrate? Well, apparently not soon enough, because not even a week later, we had two college guys fall for the same trap. First, we had this kid from Abilene Christian taking a stroll down the field prematurely. This one was weird because he was a solid 20 yards away with a handful of guys not even that far behind him. I mean, my guy. Then there's this one from the kid in Kentucky. This is bad. There's a lot going on here. First, we got the peace sign, then the point at the stands. But my favorite part is the jumping and celebrating after he gets tackled. In that moment, he can already see his coaches putting him through hell for this. He knows what he's about to go through in practice. So he's doing everything he possibly can to erase the end of this play from their minds. That little arm swing there at the end was his attempt at a Men in Black style mind eraser. The fact that Kentucky went on to lose this game in OT makes this so much worse. I mean, Tyreek Hill, when are we going to learn, my guys? Next, Carlos Correa wants to put on his big boy pants after the Astros won their round one wildcard matchup against the Twins. They have also now advanced past the Athletics to go into the ALCS. But after round one, Carlos wanted to know what people are saying now. So what are people saying now? The same damn thing they were a couple months ago, that you cheated. You cheated. The fact that you snuck into the playoffs with the sub-500 record thanks to a new 16-team format and beat a team responsible for the longest consecutive playoff losing streak of all time doesn't change the fact of what you did or how you handled it afterwards. And I get it. You're frustrated that people haven't let this go. It's probably brutal living with this weight every day, and I can 100% tell you there are people who have taken this too far. I feel you there, man. There's always a line that can't be crossed, and I'm sorry that people have done that. That's not okay. But you know what else is not okay? Cheating and then acting like you didn't. The way you handled it is borderline worse than everything else, and then to come out and be the cocky guy in response makes it even worse. Get some feel, my man. All right, next, let's get into conspiracy corner with our man Kyrie Irving. Every time I start to get frustrated trying to figure out what in the hell this guy's talking about, I feel grateful again. Grateful that he's giving me something to talk about every day, just like this. According to our man Kyrie, he has always been the best closing scorer on any team he's played for. And yes, reminder, he won his title playing with LeBron in 2016. So, do we really think he does this on purpose just to rile people up? I mean, I've heard he's a really smart and insightful guy, so I get confused when he does stuff like this. Especially because it was always going to be insinuating some shade at LeBron James, and we all know the army that he carries around with him. I mean, yes, LeBron deferred to Kyrie on his clutch shot, which, to be fair, he probably shouldn't be all that upset about because it was a design play drawn by LeBron for Kyrie that worked. And even if you believe that KD is a better clutch shooter than LeBron, which you're gonna have a hard time proving that statistically, why did you phrase it like this? Anytime you have to justify things saying they're false with the argument, I'm just too smart for you to understand me, I'm gonna be a little skeptical. He tried to come out afterwards and make a statement saying this wasn't about LeBron. People are always trying to pit brother against brother. But if you make a statement like this, that's how it's going to be interpreted. If you ask your girlfriend what she wants for dinner and you say, do you want pizza, sushi, or a burger? And she says, I like sushi and burgers, you probably can insinuate she doesn't like pizza. That's a fair assessment. When you say you've never had another go-to scoring option like this in the fourth quarter, you're inherently implying that LeBron James wasn't as good as you or KD. That's not people misinterpreting things, that's just exactly what you said. But just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, Coach Kyrie stepped in. Quote, I don't really see us having a head coach. KD could be the head coach. I could be the head coach. What in the hell? Now, the Nets' actual head coach, Steve Nash, must be tripping right now. It's never a great start to your coaching tenure when your star player is already questioning whether he trusts your authority. So, to respond to Kyrie's comments, we brought on the very own Steve Nash himself.
Steve, thank you for coming on Bookmark, talk about your new gig. Excited to have you here.
Hi, yes, good to be here. This is head coach. Excited to be the head coach, being the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving is there, but I'm the head coach. So yeah.
Right. Yes, and that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about, Steve.
Head coach, Steve.
Right. Thank you. Yes, head coach, Steve. How important was it for you to have guys like Kyrie and KD in place to take the job?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was applying to be the head coach, at the time it seemed like a no-brainer. I mean, to have the opportunity to jump right into a team that's ready to compete with two of the best players in the league. I mean, that seemed like the right career move. So at the time, I didn't have any second thoughts.
Right, but you said at the time a couple times in there, and there's a lot of past tense.
What? No. I mean, hey, I'm okay. But if you talk to Sean Marks, the GM, do you mind asking him if there's any takebacks on the contract? Just purely out of curiosity.
Steve Nash. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Head coach Steve Nash.
Things are going great for him. Don't worry. It's good to see that the Nets fans have already established the everyone is against us mentality, though. Every championship team needs this to put them over the hump. The fake narrative that everyone's against them, even though now they're infinitely more popular and have more attention than ever before. Hey, I love the Nets. I loved working there. They have some incredible fans. But let's get one thing straight. They definitely are not the heel of the NBA. There's a ton of people who don't like Kyrie and KD, and a ton of people who adore them. This is just the case of having an increased profile. You're not the heel of the NBA. Come on now. And I also really don't understand this whole all people do is hate on Kyrie angle either. I'm not hating on Kyrie. I think he's awesome. But even if you're a fan of his, you can acknowledge he says a ton of ridiculous things. Just because you support someone doesn't mean you have to believe in every single thing they say. It's okay to think this man is human. But just in case you had any doubts about where you stood on this matter, Skip Bayless weighed in with his opinion, so you should make your decision pretty easy. All right, let's get into the Explore page and check out a fun one here. We're gonna be talking about the truth. Kind of. It's Paul Pierce. That nickname is extremely ironic now. I talked about this in the last episode, but there's a bunch of different types of people who get into media. There's the people who are in it purely for the research and the reporting. Then there's the people who are in it purely for the entertainment. And then there's all those people in between. And then there's Paul Pierce. I actually don't know where he fits in here at all. I can't tell if he makes these takes on purpose just to rile people up or if he genuinely believes them. I have no idea. Like when he said he was a better wing shooter than Klay Thompson. He wasn't. Klay shoots 42% from 3, Paul shot 37% from 3. I'm taking Klay Thompson. But at least with that opinion, there's an argument to be made that Klay hasn't started his decline yet, so I can see the other side of that one. But you definitely can't give him that same benefit of the doubt with his LeBron takes. Not only did he say LeBron is not a top 5 player of all time, which, how is this man still on TV with opinions like this? He also recently came out and said that today players are scared of LeBron, but when he was playing, nobody was. I saw someone say that no one has milked one single title more than the 08 Celtics, and I just haven't been able to get that out of my mind, especially when it comes to stuff like this. And like everyone else on the planet, Draymond Green has had enough of Paul Pierce's antics. I don't like to rag on people who are just trying to do their job and they're doing their best, but I just cannot for the life of me figure out what he's going for here. I mean, it kind of feels like he's just there to defend his honor really hard. Like when he tried to say that he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. It'd be one thing if he came out and had some hesitance and some appreciation in his answer, but he just came out and said it, man. I don't get it. I mean, feel free to get into the nitty gritty of the analytics here, but you tell me which career you would rather have of these two. NBA titles, Pierce, 1, Wade, 3. Seasons, Pierce 19, Wade 16. All-Star games, Pierce 10, Wade 13. Finals MVP, 1 each. All NBA first team, Pierce 0, Wade 2. All NBA teams, Pierce 4, Wade 8. All defensive teams, Pierce 0, Wade 3. Scoring leader, Pierce 0, Wade 1. Again, tell me which guy you'd rather be. At least D-Wade got the last laugh though, clapping back at Paul Pierce after the Heat eliminated his Boston Celtics. Deuces. And like I said, there's an argument to be made for all of these cases, but it's the way that he handles it that ends up just making it sound absolutely ridiculous, like his Tyler Hero take. If Pierce didn't say all these other wild things, maybe we could have an intelligent conversation about the development of a young star like Tyler Hero. But by this point, he's become the boy who cried, "I was the best player ever" too many times. And people are just over it. Paul Pierce just needs to become a local Boston reporter or something, because the rest of us we're good for a while. Alright, it's time to play some games. It's retweet or delete. First, we're talking about a different definition of can't miss TV. It's Baker Mayfield in commercials. I mean, you literally can't miss him. He's on like every other commercial. And my guy's gotten a little bit of criticism for it. But here's the thing. I'm retweeting Baker Mayfield and his commercials. People have been taking layup shots saying he has more career commercials than career touchdowns thrown. I get it. It's funny. It is a funny little headline. And no, we haven't seen the best of Baker Mayfield or what we expected after that rookie year. But let's be honest, those commercials are pretty clever, and I enjoy them. I do. My question is, why are people so upset about this? And who are you even mad at? Do you want him to not take the commercials? I mean, look, at some point the guy's not going to be playing football. He's going to have other things to do in his life. And if somebody's going to pay him to be in a commercial and have it be entertaining, who says no there? If anything, you should be upset with people giving him the jobs. But again, they just want somebody entertaining. I think this is one of those things that gets back to people always want to criticize players when they don't show enough emotion or they're not constantly playing the game. I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret here. All these guys need a little bit of a break, and all of them care. So when you see a guy on the sidelines and he's not crying after a loss, guess what? He just processes losses differently. Let Baker live. He'll either figure it out or stop getting TV commercials. It'll work itself out. Next, Alex Rodriguez wants to see some small ball, people. During the Braves vs. Reds extra inning thriller in the first round of the wild card, Alex Rodriguez, who is 4th all-time in home runs, was adamantly calling for some bunts to be laid down. Delete. No bunting. Yes, the baseball traditionalists are cringing right now, but that's okay. The odds are in your favor to not bunt. And I think a lot of the diehard baseball fans who cared about what A-Rod was actually saying have wised up to this type of thing. And that's why nobody wanted to hear this for innings on end. And let's not forget, people, Alex Rodriguez did not bunt a single time over his final 15 years of his career, which was right because he should not have. Let's remember some of the guys that were hitting here. We're talking about Ozzie Albies, who rakes, who should not be bunting because he rakes. My guy, no bunting. And even if we were, we don't need it for like 6 innings. Thank you. Delete. Okay, this episode on Play It Forward, we're going to shout out former U.S. men's national team legend Landon Donovan and his USL team, the San Diego Loyal, for taking a stance against prejudice in soccer. On September 23rd, 2020, the San Diego Loyal tied LA Galaxy's lower division team 1-1. But after the game, the team issued a statement saying they intended to forfeit the point in the match because one of their players had been racially abused and they didn't want to recognize the game that had been played if this type of behavior was allowed. But this was just the start of them taking a stand against hate. In their following game, the Loyal and their opponents, the Phoenix Rising, agreed to stop the game and unveil a banner together that said, "We will speak, we will act." But that moment never came because as the second half was primed to begin, Landon Donovan pulled his team from the pitch. One of his players had been the target of a homophobic slur, and the team was doing what they had promised to do. They were going to speak, they were going to act. And the Loyal essentially ended all chances of making the playoffs to stand up for their teammate because it was bigger than soccer. That deserves applause. But the thing that's frustrating about this is that the Phoenix Rising manager Rick Shantz was apparently not in support of the Loyal's decision. He tried to argue that this is just part of the game and that his guys were just competing. But that's the whole point, Rick. It shouldn't be part of the game. This doesn't need to be part of competing. You shouldn't need to abuse another person to compete. That is ridiculous. Shout out to Landon Donovan and the San Diego Loyal for taking a stance because this is what it's all about. Thank you guys for joining another episode of Bookmarked. Be sure to listen to us on our new podcast, What's Poppin'. We've had some incredible guests recently. Be sure to like and subscribe to Bookmarked. You can watch us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you and appreciate all of you. Please come on and tell us what you like and don't like about this show. We love all of you. Thanks, guys.